Okay, that's a piece based on the Bucelic scale, which is a bit like our natural harmonic minor with the natural minor scale and harmonic minor scale, so a G and a G sharp. Set that aside. I want to talk a little bit about why I play Turkish music occasionally. Let's go back to the year 2000. It's either a year at either side of that or 2000. I was granted, awarded a Churchill Fellowship, which allowed me to go and study music I knew nothing about anywhere in the world. What a great idea. Just here's some money, go and study something you know nothing about. That's roughly related to your own music. At the time I was doing a lot of Scottish lute music, and in some ways this was an award for revitalising the lute to some degree in Scotland, and it was very welcome. But I didn't know, I looked at a map and I thought, where can I go, what can I study? And I was interested in how the lute came into Europe, and some argue it came through Morocco with the Moorish invasion of Spain, and some argue it came up through Turkey into Eastern Europe, and probably both are correct, and maybe there's a third option as well. But I was interested in that, so I thought I'd go and look at lute music in Morocco and Istanbul, well, Turkey, and that meant the oud. And so I looked online and I found an oud player in Istanbul, and I wrote to him and said, would you mind if I came over, saw you had a couple of lessons, and you can explain your music to me, and we can discuss that. And also, do you know a luthier who might make me an instrument while I'm there? And in my naivety, I knew nothing about this music, this culture, which is the point of the award. In my naivety, I didn't realize I'd stumbled across arguably the greatest oud player of the day, Necati Çelik, and he recommended arguably the greatest luthier of the day, Faruk Turuns. And so I went off to Istanbul, not quite knowing what I was going to meet. I couldn't speak Turkish. Necati could speak English, but very thick accent, and like me, he was a very shy person, taciturn. Yes, believe it or not, I'm very shy. I find it difficult in company to assert myself. Don't like doing that. And so we met, and he took me to Faruk's workshop, and then he proceeded to play and to blow me away with his incredible musicianship. This was at the same standard as Paco de Lucia on flamenco guitar. Just mind-blowing. And I felt angry with myself, for not knowing this and knowing this guy. And here I was, without even owning an instrument, asking him for lessons. Imagine doing that to Paco de Lucia. It's just ridiculous. So I was quite angry with myself, and naturally diffident anyway, and it didn't go too well. But then he took me to his family's house and met his wonderful family, his wife and daughter, and later I met his son Jalaluddin, his daughter Yasmin, very helpful. She loaned me her oud while mine was being made. And when I was there, Necati put on some recordings of great masters of the past who luckily were recorded. And I was amazed at the absolute reverence the whole family gave to these recordings. Everything went silent. Everybody stopped what they were doing and listened. I thought that was wonderful. This really meant something. And I was given Mutlu Torun's book. I've shown this before. On the oud, it's in Turkish, of course, naturally. And that piece was written by him, Mutlu Torun. And so I did a little bit of study when I was there, and Necati allowed me to come in to observe the state Turkish state classical music ensemble practicing, rehearsing. And that was incredible. Those guys were unbelievable. I still think about that, every week. It was really beautiful. And so I have lots of good memories from there. Some funny memories, like going for a haircut and having quite an experience at a barber's. I said to him, just take this much off, and he thought I said, just leave this much. And I was distracted by, he threw this magazine on my lap. It was a faded colour 1950s magazine of Turkish women in swimming costumes. It was just so surreal. And I didn't notice that he would put this machine on, and he suddenly went right in the middle of my head. There's this big furrow, missing hair. And I thought, oh my God, and I just didn't know what to do. I didn't want to run away and wander around Istanbul with this absurd haircut. So he just kept going, and I had the shortest haircut since I was born, I think. And I think Necati and his family, who first saw me with longer hair, next time they saw me, I had this skinhead, and it was quite bizarre. So I've lots of memories of there. So I'd like to come back to Turkish music. While I was at Necati's house, there was an instrument in the corner which took my attention. It turned out to be a tanbur, and he said it belonged to his son. He couldn't really play, but he put it in my hands, and I just fell in love with this instrument. And after a while he said to me, I think it should be a tanbur you're taking back to Scotland, not an oud. And I kind of agreed, but I already had this oud from the great Faruk Turun's. So I took that back home, and later on I got a tanbur, but it wasn't a very good one, and I stopped playing. Then later I got a better one, but it wasn't a good time for me for playing. I had too many other things on, and that went. So at the moment I've got an oud again to start exploring and living a few memories of this incredible player, Necati Çelik. I'll leave a link below to some of his stuff. And this is why I occasionally get these passions to study Turkish music, which is incredibly complex and beautiful music. The Moroccan side of my two-part journey did not go so well. I was there for a few days, and then 9/11 happened, and the Churchill Foundation suggested I come home. So that really didn't work out. The guy I was meant to meet never turned up, and so I never really got to know Moroccan oud playing. But it was a fascinating insight in the Turkish chapter, and I still like to learn about the theory and the background to the players, the composers, and so on. My own efforts are paltry. I will always be an amateur in this field, and quite happy to be so. I just want to explore it. And one of the reasons for learning is that you can appreciate recordings and performances that you hear all the more. So you can hear what they're doing with the makams, the scales, and modulations they make, and so on, and intonation. My intonation is poor, It's not terrible, but it's not what it should be. Could be, hopefully. So occasionally you'll see some Turkish stuff from me, and I do have a Turkish music website I've created called udtanbur.art. Okay, I hope you like that, and I'm getting for those who despair that I'm not playing lute music. I'm awaiting a 12-course lute, a Baroque lute, to arrive, hopefully in February, and there'll be plenty of lute music coming your way after that. Okay, bye for now.